What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know me by now, my name is Lunaru, and we are going to be reacting to the top 10 surprise hit games of 2021. I think it's a good way to end out the year, especially since we are about to be approaching 2022, and gameranx decided to bring us a top 10 list of the best games of 2021 that were a surprise. But before we hop into the video, drop a like if you enjoy it, and if you are new and want to see more content from me, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. And I have one question for you guys. I read and respond to all the comments, so let me know what game surprised you the most on this list. Let's hop right into the video.
2021 was full of surprises in gaming. There were quite a few disappointments, but there were
Oh
also
my
a
god,
ton
I
of
forgot
games
about
that truly
Cyberpunk.
surprised us in a good way. Let's talk about some of them. We've got 10. Starting off with number 10, Hell Let Loose released on console this year. And this is a large-scale multiplayer first-person shooter.
What? I've never even heard of this.
Oh, just another World War II shooter and an indie one. But this one has a pretty unique twist. Not only is it extremely simple,
Bro, this game looks like Battlefield. I'm not gonna lie, like the old Battlefields.
simulation style, it's got a whole kind of strategy RTS layer to it.
Oh my
It is
god.
incredibly unique and really damn ambitious when you go beneath the surface. And because of that, you probably are going to end up either loving it or not really being into it, but you got to respect it because it really...
Would you guys like that game? I feel like I wouldn't get into it only because it looks super complicated.
really relies on communication and planning, with one player acting as a commander with more responsibility and then small individual squads connecting with higher ups, and there's just a lot of communication and resource management and a lot to it, way more than just a regular old FPS.
Bro, this looks
And the
so
console version
complicated.
doesn't
Oh my
quite feel that
god.
great with this stuff at times. This style of game is sometimes just more at home on PC, but either way, if you're playing it and you get a good serious group going, it's a hell of a unique experience.
Yeah, I feel
Next
like it
over
would
at
be
number
fun
9,
if you had a group.
Wildermyth. This is a procedurally generated tactical RPG with a focus on characters and decision making. It's been in early access for a few
god,
years, but
RPG.
finally saw a full official release last July, and man, this one was not on a lot of people's radar until reviews started dropping. Do not be deceived by how this looks.
What?
This is essentially like an old school tabletop RPG fan's wet dream in a lot of ways, thanks to some creative gameplay concepts going on here. It's a concept of endless heroes. Every game, new heroes are generated with their own histories and personalities, and then from there, you grow them and watch them evolve how you want. So
Tell me
after a
why this
session,
low-key
you can
sounds
take your
fun.
favorites with you and slowly build up like a dream team of heroes and engage in combat and do some good old dungeon crawling. It really is a great Dungeons and Dragons experience representation, and all you gotta do is just look past its appearance or graphical style. Some people
Yeah, bro, I was gonna say, it actually sounds like a fun game, but the only thing that, like, gets me is the graphics are, like, I don't know.
don't
It looks
quite
like an
jive
old
with how
game.
it looks, but it is still
Yeah.
absolutely worth playing. You'll be surprised like we were. The gameplay
Maybe I'll have
and the
to check it
systems
out.
within it are beloved for a reason now. Now, next over at number 8, The Artful Escape. This is an indie story adventure focused around music. It was announced and then it was released, and that was it. Like, for most people, not a lot of hype or anything, but what we
I've never
got
even heard of
is a
this game.
really over the top and beautifully stylized adventure about a young man named Francis who is a guitar prodigy and goes on this cerebral musical adventure about
Has anyone
dead
played this
music
game?
stars,
I've never even
character
heard of
coming
it.
into his own and essentially becoming a rock music god. It's again super stylish and really cool to look at. It's part fantasy, it's part sci-fi, but really like whatever it is or whatever it's doing at that specific moment or whatever you want to call it, it's really damn unique. Even though there's some simple, straightforward gameplay, it is so cool to play and just go through and experience stuff.
I mean, all the environments
is
look
better
pretty
left
cool.
Just kind of discovering it for yourself. It's really cool. Next over at number 7, we have the Ascent. This released on PC and Xbox, and essentially it's a sci-fi, cyberpunk themed Diablo style game with an emphasis on cool guns and abilities, and it is a lot of fun to play. We did have a good time.
Am I the only one that hates top-down shooters? Like, I can handle third person. Obviously, I like first person the best probably, But these like top-down games, I absolutely hate. I feel like they're
really
unplayable.
The most is just how insane it looks. It is incredibly graphically impressive, whether you're playing on console or PC. This thing pushes things to the limit, and you wouldn't always immediately expect that with more of a top-down isometric style game, but look at what's going on here. We've also highlighted this in our best graphics video. The visual designs they have going on here are top tier, not to mention also just some kick-ass music. This game is a definitive cyberpunk experience. If you
It looks good though, like graphic-wise, it looks really good.
The science fiction concept of cyberpunk lives beyond that game, and it lives perfectly right here. Next over at number 6, Hot Wheels Unleashed. Oh man.
Hot Wheels has a game?
I did not care about until I had to review it and make a video about it. It turns out it's actually pretty sweet. It's been a long time since I've seen a licensed toy product game.
Listen, I've never played racing games like growing up, but you know what racing game came out this year that's actually really good? Forza 5 Horizons or whatever it's called. That game is so fun.
And came out.
Let me know if I should make some content on it.
Hot Wheels Unleashed is
obviously I'm not the best, but like it's a really fun game.
Fashion, simple video game. There are tons of cool racetracks and courses that are all kind of themed around you being on a toy track. And
this actually looks fun. Like I did not know Hot Wheels had a game.
Celebrate classic style Hot Wheels cars that maybe you played with as a kid. You can also build your own tracks. The track builder is incredibly comprehensive, and if you're like a fan or you have a kid who's a fan of these types of cars and tracks and toys, you really can go absolutely nuts and spend a ton of time making crazy courses and loop-de-loops. And
this would be a great game for kids who like cars.
Has pumped out all kinds of generic racers and stuff throughout the years, but this here is the definitive Hot Wheels experience in video game form. I never thought I would say that. I never thought that would even be anything I would care about, but the game is just that much fun. Next over at number 5, 2021 did have a lot of smaller indie games, and Ender Lily's Quietus of the Nights is one that seemed to go under a lot of people's radar, but I've
never even heard of this.
It takes place in a kingdom where rainfall transforms every living thing into monsters known as Blighted, and you play as Lily, who's teamed up with knights to unravel the mystery that is this reign of death. It manages to have a very dreary art style that is also just a joy to look at. It also features a soundtrack by Millie, who you may know from working on different anime. And players really enjoy the music and the atmosphere that it creates, along with the look of the game. If you're into Metroidvania and Souls-like games, this is something you're gonna want to check out. With its like really fast combat that's focused on perfectly timing dodges to get out of the way of enemy attacks.
Honestly, this looks hard.
Keep you on your toes with some challenge, especially with some cool bosses. This game we've talked about on a couple of our top 10s before. It really surprised us, so consider it. Next over,
that game looks hard as hell.
Naraka Bladepoint. It's a multiplayer game that actually has up to 60-player.
I've heard of this game. I actually wanted to play this game.
It's got fast melee combat. There are ranged weapons, and it has a grappling hook that helps you get around quick and traverse upwards to hit your opponents from high above. You choose from a roster of heroes, each with their own playstyles, and then you're able to customize them to your liking.
Damn, they had Squidward. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, this dude probably will. But this is basically like a battle royale with samurai swords and powers and stuff. It's so cool.
Features 1v1 rules all the way up to, like we said, 60-player PvP battles. So there's a lot of variety here. Technically, you might consider it a battle royale, seeing that this is a last man standing type of thing, but it's definitely one of the more unique takes on the genre, which
I agree.
That's a surprise in and
of itself. It looks so fire.
We thought the whole concept was overdone and played out now. It's oversaturated, but thankfully Naraka Bladepoint's pretty cool. It unfortunately is having some issues seemingly with cheaters using auto-aim hacks, so that's something to be aware of, and we're hoping it gets fixed soon, but still, it's a really cool game. Now, next up at number 3, we have It Takes Two.
Oh, hey, this is like random, but like you said about cheaters, am I the only one that feels like cheaters have become like so common in gaming now? I don't know why everyone's obsessed with cheating recently, but it just feels like every game is getting flooded with cheaters now. Or maybe it's just because you're able to hear about it more since more people make content and talk about it now, but I don't know.
Now, okay, this
I feel like you never heard about it back in the day.
In some ways, this is Hazelight. the people behind the pretty awesome A Way Out and Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. But what surprised us is just how many different styles of gameplay are crammed in here, and how fun
It
they
Takes
all
Two.
really actually are. So it's a cooperative adventure.
Listen, I was gonna play this. Let me know if you guys want a series of this game on my channel. I have it on my PC. I was gonna play it with my girlfriend. I don't really know how we would record it yet, but I have this game and we are gonna play it, so let me know if you guys want a playthrough.
Sure, once again, this is what the studio does. It's a great excuse to get playing a game with a friend or a loved one or something like that. It's not the most intense hardcore thing. It's good for all audiences, but this one in particular really introduces concepts at a mile a minute. At one point it's a platformer, at one point it's a third-person shooter, at one point it's an aerial shooter, at one point it becomes like a snowboarding, skiing, downhill game. There's puzzles, there's humor, a really heartfelt story that is paced really well and moves forward quickly, but gives you enough character building to really get a sense for these people, and it feels kind of like a more adult, like PG-13 rated Pixar movie, but in playable video game form. It
looks good, and it was rated really good.
Is one of the best of the year, and it surprised us just how well it nails all those concepts, but also by how like it's just like one of the better games they've ever made. It's nuts. Down to number 2, Death's Door. It's another one, you know, it's a smaller indie game that just
I've never heard of this.
Nowhere, and took some corners of the gaming community by storm. It's a top-down-ish game where you play as a crow.
I hate top-down.
Reaping souls, and it's like an undead dungeon crawler type game with good combat, an incredible art style, and just some cool, fun world building. It's quirky without being annoying. It's incredibly satisfying to play. There's good, pleasing progression with different abilities. It's also like a little like classic Zelda, but darker. I've
never played Zelda.
Just feels rewarding, and the environments are just dripping with fun attention to certain things, giving some really good exploration. Every website and lots of YouTube channels make lists of their favorite games at the end of the year, you know? Expect this one to pop up on quite a few Game of the Year lists.
Have you guys heard of any of these small indie games? Because I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've heard of like any of these small indie games.
Down to number 1, the biggest surprise of the year, at least for us here personally, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, when this game was first revealed,
oh, you know what?
We were
Actually, yeah,
pretty hot off of the Avengers game, which not a lot of people were a fan of. This seemed like just more of that, but this time with Guardians of the Galaxy, and thankfully, it turned out to be anything but. What Guardians of the Galaxy really...
Has anyone watching this played this game? Because I heard like a lot of positive feedback about this game.
It's just like a classic, good old single-player video game adventure with a story, action, big moments, and a lot of heart. It feels like sometimes we don't get these like big budget AAA games that are just regular old single player games anymore, and thankfully Guardians of the Galaxy really kind of baits you in with it just looking like the movies, but it actually dives way deeper into these characters and does really cool creative things and just some good Marvel Universe world building in the classic sense. With the gameplay, you play as Peter Quill, Star-Lord, and you're tasked with kind of like telling everybody what to do. It's a little bit hybrid RPG style. It's a little rough around the edges, but it's still fun, and the real thing here
it looks fun. It doesn't even look bad.
Really funny. There's a lot of great dialogue. Not a lot of it is cringy. It's all pretty satisfying. There's a story with real emotions, and it's interesting. There's a lot of cool music. There's licensed tracks, of course. It's a Guardians game, and videos and trailers don't do it justice graphically. Like if you actually have it running on your monitor or on a TV, it looks way better than YouTube videos suggest. Overall, it's just a well-rounded, really cool game, and we're going to be thinking about it for quite a while.
Wow, that list was actually really surprising. Let me know what game you played or what game surprised you that made this list. I think the only games I even knew on this list was the Naraka Bladepoint and It Takes Two. A lot of these games I never even heard of, so that was honestly really surprising for me. I was expecting the top 10 surprise hits to be more like bigger known games, but there was actually a lot of small indie games on this list that didn't even look that bad. But that's gonna be it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, drop a like. It helps out the channel a ton. Like I said, I read and respond to all the comments, and if you want to see more content from me, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.